in Constitution at Work, Chapter 1, Constitution Why and How, Part 1. Starting with what is the Constitution? Constitution basically is a book of laws that lays down the basic structure according to which a country is to be governed. The Constitution of a country is a written document which prescribes it to be a supreme law of the country to decide the structure of the government along with rights and duties of citizens. The Constitution speaks of who would play a vital or important role in the decision making process or who would be having what kind of powers. The Constitution is the supreme law of the country. There is nothing above the Constitution. It maintains a relationship between the government and the citizens of the country. It constitutes the structure of the government. It tells who would play an important role in the decision-making powers. What is the importance of the Constitution? A Constitution distributes the powers and functions among the three organs of the government, that is the legislature, the executive and the judiciary. The legislature makes the laws, the executive puts those laws into practice, and the judiciary is there to protect the rights of the citizens and to settle disputes. The government of India is composed of principles laid down in a constitution. A constitution basically maintains the relation between the government and the citizens. Now, why do we need a constitution, or what are the functions that the constitution performs? The first function of a constitution is it allows coordination and assurance. Now, the first function of a constitution is that it provides a set of basic rules that allow for minimal coordination amongst members of a society. Now, in a country, all the people belonging to different religions, speaking different languages, belonging to different regions, they are living together just to ensure that all of them are going to be governed by the same sets of laws, by the same basic laws, and the minimal conditions which will be provided to them to bring about equality among them. All these things are assured by the Constitution. So the coordination and assurance among the people is only ensured through the Constitution of the country. Specification of decision-making powers is the second function of a constitution. Basically, the constitution lays down or specifies who has the power to make the decisions in a society. It also decides how the government will be constituted. In fact, a constitution is an authority that constitutes the government in the first place. The third function of the Constitution is that it limits the powers of the government. The third function of a constitution is to set some limits on what a government can impose on its citizens. These limits are fundamental in the sense that government may never trespass them. In fact, the constitution limits the power of government in many ways. The most common way of limiting the power of government is to specify certain fundamental rights that all of us possess as citizens and which no government can ever be allowed to violate. These fundamental rights that are given to all the citizens of the country, irrespective of their caste, their religion, their culture, etc., enables them to go to a court of law if they are violated. So the Constitution is basically putting certain brakes on the limits of the government and ensuring that the government does not go beyond its limits. The fourth function of a constitution is that it represents the aspirations and goals of a society. The fourth function of the constitution is to enable the government to fulfill the aspirations of a society and create conditions for a just society. A just society means where everybody is equal. A number of provisions are inserted to ensure the welfare of the society. The Constitution represents the fundamental identity of a people. Finally, and perhaps even more importantly, a constitution expresses the fundamental identity of a people. This means that the people as a identity or entity means when they come together, they come into being only through the basic constitution. It is by agreeing to a basic set of norms about how one should be governed and who would be governed that one forms a collective identity. One has many sets of identities that exist prior to a constitution. Now, before a constitution comes into being, people have different identities, have different set of identities, but by agreeing to certain basic norms and principles, one constitutes one's basic political identity. The constitutional norms are the overarching framework within which one pursues individual aspirations, goals, and freedoms. Whatever our goals, our aspirations, and freedoms are, they should be within the constitution and not beyond the constitution. The country or the nation comes first. Mode of promulgation. This refers to how a constitution comes into being. Who crafted the constitution, that means who framed the constitution, and how much authority did they have. In many countries, the constitutions remain defunct. Defunct means they're not functional because they are crafted by military leaders or leaders who are not popular with the people, who are not able to influence them. They are crafted by military leaders or leaders who are not popular and do not have the ability to carry the people with them. Although India's constitution was formally created by a Constituent Assembly between December 1946 and November 1949, it drew upon it a long history of the nationalist movement that had a remarkable ability to take along different sections of Indian society together. During the national movement, different categories of people who belonged to different regions, spoke different languages, worshipped different gods and goddesses, all these people had participated in the nationalist movement of India. So the Constitution of India was also influenced by the nationalist movement, and the Constitution of India also reflects the legacy of the nationalist movement. The Constitution drew enormous legitimacy from the fact that it was drawn up by people who enjoyed immense public credibility, who had the capacity to negotiate and command the respect of a wide cross section of society. It means that the people who sat down to frame the Constitution of India were respectful people and that they had considerable influence on the people. They commanded the respect of a large number of people in the society. They were able to convince the people that the constitution was not an instrument for the aggrandizement of their personal power. What it means is that they were able to convince the people that they were not using the constitution or the power that they had to frame the Constitution of Independent India to increase their power. The final document, which came out in the form of the Constitution of India, reflected the broad national consensus at that time. National consensus at that time means what the maximum number of people thought, that was brought out in the final document of the Constitution.